Good afternoon to all of you. So I'm very glad to talk to you today, at the very end of the year, and convey my best wishes to all of you for this coming 2018. It's a pleasure for me to speak to you on this topic. It's a pleasure to convey a message which may be beneficial for those who listen, and for myself who gives it. Because what we do it first of all for ourselves. Any service that we give to humanity, it's a service to oneself first of all. So for this Satsang, I would like to sing a song to begin with, which I wrote just for this occasion. It's a kind of small song, short song, which deals with this coming new year, best wishes for the coming new year. So I will then talk about the song, what it means, and the message that it conveys for this coming new year. So please listen with all of your attention. Be well focused, well concentrated. Enjoy it. Again, good year to all of you. May you be blessed and realize yourself. Again, good year to all of you. May you be blessed and realize yourself. This is my wish for all of you, that within this year you might be blessed and realize yourself. This is my wish for all of you, that within this year you might be blessed and realize yourself. Again, good year to all of you. May you be blessed and realize yourself. I know for sure that the aim of life, it is to achieve realization. So do your best, do your meditation, and you will achieve the liberation. I know for sure that the aim of life, it is to achieve realization. So do your best, do your meditation, and you will achieve the liberation. Again, good year to all of you. May you be blessed and realize yourself. Again, good year to all of you. May you be blessed and realize yourself. There is nothing in this world that may be compared to self-realization. May God grant you within this year your complete May God grant you within this year your complete liberation. Again, good year to all of you. May you be blessed and realize yourself. May Satguru bless you and take your soul to the very peak of realization. May the whole humanity experience this year the expansion of liberation. May Satguru bless you and take your soul to the very peak of realization. May the whole humanity experience this year the expansion of liberation. Again, good year to all of you. May you be blessed and realize yourself. Again, good year to all of you. May you be happy and realize yourself. So the song says, again, once again, the year is ending. It's amazing how time keeps passing and going. And without our awareness, days, weeks, months, years keep rolling up and just disappearing from our sight. What stays from all of this is the wisdom that we gather, the understanding that we gather about life, about the purpose of life, about why we came in this world at all. So once again, the end of the year has come, and it's very important at the end of the year to make kind of a review of what has happened. What were the most meaningful events of this year? What has happened, so very important, that has contributed to the improvement of our life, of our person? Which lessons the life has given to us through joys and sorrows, to anything that has happened. It doesn't matter so really much, joys and sorrows. What happens is the lesson that we get through them and how much we improve ourselves by going through these lessons or experiences. Anyway, a year has passed. Here we are facing the new year. So, as it is important to review what has been happening in the past year, it's also very important to give goals and aims to our life for the coming new year. So anyway, what we would like to realize, what should we like to realize in the coming year? We should try to make our life more blissful, by the way, more happy, and get as close as possible to self-realization. This is the purpose of life in general. It's not just the purpose for this coming year, but it's very good to remind ourselves and promise to ourselves that in the next year I will take advantage of the lessons which I got from this past year and set for myself goals and aims which will help me to get as close as possible to this self-realization for which I and everybody has been coming into this world. So it's very important to live a purposeful, happy, blissful life. And although it is very easy to say this, we know very well that it's not very easy or as easy to actualize it in our life. Because so many are the challenges, so many are the events that take place that make it hard for us to live a blissful, happy life. But we should try our best not to be so much shaken by what happens, by the events of life, which are a challenge, and try to challenge our capacity to be happy and blissful. And we should take everything with a smile and learn the lesson and be happy, because anything is going to teach us something and is going to improve our life. So for a spiritual person, it's very important. It's important for everybody, but for a spiritual person who's trying hard to realize himself, herself, it is very important to do it with joy, with bliss if possible. Normally, especially in the Western world, in the world of Christianity, I must say, it is understood that a holy man, a person who strives to achieve self-realization, is to be a kind of a sad person, that getting closer to God, it means to somehow suffer and be sad. Christianity has always been associated with, suffering. Jesus Christ was crucified, he suffered a lot, so we all have to suffer. And getting close to God somehow, in this kind of understanding, it means suffer. But it shouldn't be like this. It should be that a spiritual person should actually be much more happy than other people. Why this? Because a spiritual person is trying to live its life in its full potential. A spiritual person is trying to live life in this world with our body and senses, as by any means we are all compelled to do. Spiritual person is trying to understand life, so he's trying to gather knowledge and develop his intellect, his intuition, his mental faculties in general. And he's also trying to come in touch with the spiritual side of life. So a spiritual person is trying to live a complete life, and therefore should be much more happy than other people, much more fulfilled, because the joy and the bliss, by the way, that we experience when we do our spiritual practice, ordinary people, those who do not live a spiritual life by doing a spiritual practice, they do not even come to imagine. So a spiritual person should be much more happy than any of the other people. Because, by the way, through our spiritual practice, we have a chance to experience, to explore the spiritual side of life. You're given a chance to raise above body and senses and mind and intellect, and experience the dimension that transcends all of these. And this is what makes life for all human beings really fulfilled, complete, and very profound also. So it's a must for a spiritual person to always be happy. Master Kirpal always emphasized this go jolly thing at the end of any of our darshans with him. In greeting us, he always said, go jolly. He was a very jolly man himself. He was a very happy man, very blissful man himself. And he always tried to infuse into us this enthusiasm about life, about living our life, and especially our spiritual life. Because it is such a great thing to explore this spiritual side of life, this dimension that transcends body and mind. And anybody who gets in his or her life to experience even a tiny bit of this will have definitely a better understanding of life, a much more profound, complete perception of life in general. Therefore, we feel much more realized, much more complete. So, my wish for all of you, for all of us, it is that within this coming year, we might all experience bliss and get closer to self-realization. What does it mean, after all, this term self-realization? Realize oneself. Well, I think most of the people think that they know very well themselves. At any level of their life, at any level of their experience of life, they think that they know very well everything. They know themselves. If you talk with anybody, especially nowadays, with the help of all this technology and all these informations that we gather from all sides, everybody thinks to know a lot about life, to know oneself. But the real knowledge of oneself, the real self-realization, comes when, by the way, as I said before, we experience ourselves as soul, as consciousness, separated from body and mind. So self-realization means realization of the self, the real self, which is the soul, which is the consciousness that transcends body and mind. So this is what we should try to achieve in this life. And we should make a purpose. We should make a promise for ourselves for the coming new year to do our best in this field, in this regard, and try to come as close as possible to this blissful state that is a consequence of coming to know oneself, to realize oneself as spiritual being, separated from body and mind. So it says then in the song, I know for sure that the goal of life, the aim of life is realization, self-realization. And people who experience this side of life, this phenomenon of life, they have no doubt that among all the possibilities that we have in life, among all the many things that we may accomplish, with this body and with this mind. You know, in this world so many things have been done and so many things keep being done. And so much progress has been done in so many directions. Okay, but this is important, but it is not the real purpose of life. It is not really why we came into this world. The real reason why we came into this world is, by the way, achieving self-realization. So the stone says, I know for sure, because I've experienced this side, this potential, this possibility of us human beings. And I know for sure that this is the real purpose of our life. This is the real reason, the real why we come into this world. To achieve self-realization, to experience this freedom that comes when we are able to separate our consciousness from this identification with body and with this thinking process in which we are so much entangled. It never gives us peace. It's always going on, this thinking and thinking, planning and fantasizing and remembering. It's an endless chain. So if by the grace of God, by the grace of the Supreme Being, we are given a chance to transcend, to go above, more or less, this identification with body and mind, and experience the expansion, the freedom that comes from being above all of these, then we know for sure that this is the purpose of life. The purpose of life is not coming into this world and try to gather wealth, become powerful, become famous. This might be there, this might happen, but this is not the real purpose of life, because also people who are wealthy or are famous, they are not happy. They are not happy because anything of this world, anything material, it will always give us a temporary happiness. Very soon we will find no joy anymore in that something, object or affection, sentimental, loves, this and that. No. The real joy, the real fulfillment in life comes from transcending body and mind and experiencing ourselves as consciousness, as divine light. This light, which we may experience when we transcend body and mind, is what gives the real intense pleasure, the real intense joy, bliss, ecstasy, samadhi. And this is so much above anything we can get from this world through this body and through this mind. So that's why the song here says, I know for sure that the purpose of life it is to achieve self-realization. So do your best, do your meditation, and you will achieve the liberation. That's how it comes. It doesn't come, from intellectual wrestling. It doesn't come from sensual pleasures. No, it's something that transcends all of this. It comes through meditation, through spiritual practice, through devotional singing, which helps so much in creating a very peaceful, profound, deep atmosphere, which automatically will pull our attention within, inside, and help us transcend and go above body and thinking process. So when we do our spiritual practice, we sit down in peace, we get up early in the morning, we sit down in peace, sing our devotional songs, and by this attract to us the grace, the blessing. Then, we close our eyes and we focus at the third eye. We keep there our attention, and the inner vision opens. Then this light comes, and it is such a wonderful experience, because it doesn't stay just as a visual something that you see and doesn't give you anything. No, it gives you a lot, because it penetrates inside of you, it goes inside your body even, inside your emotions, your feelings. So all of these, it is boosted up. The perception becomes so intense, and we experience states of consciousness which ordinarily, on the ordinary day-to-day experience, we can't even dream of. And this is what will give us the possibility of experiencing life in its fullness. That's why self-realization is complete realization, because we experience ourselves also as spiritual beings, made of light, made of the same essence as that of God. And when we know that we are of the same essence as of God, and that God is within us and we are within Him, and this is the greatest joy we may experience in life. So do your best, do your meditation. It doesn't come from, from talking, from reading, from drawing inferences, from, it doesn't come from imagination. It's a real fact that we must actualize through meditation. Meditation is the key to open the inner door and experience ourselves as spiritual beings, and consequently achieve self-realization. Master Kirpal used to say, first you have to know yourself, who you are, what you are, analyze yourself from body and mind, experience yourself as spiritual being, means realize yourself, then you will realize what God is. And it's a consequent something. When you know yourself, then you also know God. Because when you know yourself, you know that God is within you. That you and God are one and the same thing. So if you want to know God, first know yourself. Once you know yourself, then you know God as well. And this, as I said, it doesn't just fall on us from... Sometimes, yes, we get the blessing that comes spontaneously to us as an encouragement for showing us that, look, it's going to be like this. This is the reality. You are lost in illusion. You think to be body and mind, but you're not. This is what you really are. So by the grace of God, sometimes we are shown what we really are. That we are not body and mind, but consciousness. We are light. But then, it doesn't stay with us forever. Then we have to strive, do our best, make efforts in this direction. Do our spiritual practice. Get up in the morning. Do your spiritual practice. Day by day, week by week, month by month, for the rest of your life. Once you have been granted this kind of blessing of seeing what you are, even if for a brief moment I've experienced in a very deep state of meditation that you are something else than what you were taught to be, then we have to practice. And what we do. Once we have gained an experience like this, we should look for a master. Sometimes it comes when we meet the Master, sometimes it may come before, it may come as a grace. But then we have to meet the Master who will give us initiation, and through initiation give us another, another boost, another blessing, and again confirm that really we are not body and mind, but we are spirit, we are consciousness. And we, through self-analysis, we may withdraw from this and raise above. So we are taught how to do it, the method, practice that we have to do in order to actualize this again and again. But then we have to keep doing it. Then we, for the rest of our life, we have to keep doing our spiritual practice and daily try to come in touch with this divine light that will bless us and will make the general quality of our life of a higher kind. So there is nothing in this world that might be compared to self-realization. Nothing. No world, no pleasure of the senses of any kind, no intellectual knowledge is going to give that kind of intensity, bliss and ecstasy that self-realization is going to give to you. So there is nothing that can be compared to this in this world. So I wish that within this year God might bless you, says the song, and you may achieve this self-realization. You may achieve the liberation. What does this word liberation means, after all? Liberation from what? Mainly it's liberation from the illusion of identifying ourselves with this body consciousness. As I said, the expansion that comes from raising above body consciousness, it is such a wonderful sense of freedom, which we can never experience through any other kind of freedom. Normally, people understand freedom to be the possibility of doing whatever you want. I am free because I can sleep maybe up to midday, I can go and enjoy whatever I want, I have money, and I do what I wish. I'm not going to listen to anybody, I just listen to my mind, and I am consequently free. But this is not freedom. This is not freedom at all. This is to be a slave of our, of our ignorant mind. This is to be a slave of our illusion. Freedom is something else. Freedom is, freedom is giving up freedom in order to be free. That's how Maulana Rumi used to put it. He used to say, if you want to be free, give up freedom. What does it mean? Give up this illusory freedom of thinking that you're free just because you can do whatever you want. No. The real freedom as it comes when you give up this illusory, stupid freedom, and you accept the authority of the Master, you accept the teachings of the Master, and try to put them into practice. So if you want to achieve freedom, give up freedom, this illusory freedom, and bow down to the authority of the Master. Put into practice into your life, the teachings Do your spiritual practice. Try to live the teachings in their fullness, 100%. And then you will achieve what freedom really is, which is freedom from body, senses, and mind. And experience it, this expansion that comes when you transcend all of this. All the people that through one means or another have experienced to a certain degree this transcending the body and going into the light, they all agree that this is the goal of life. This is the supreme experience. Nothing else can be compared to this. So the song ends by saying, may Satguru bless you and take your soul to the very peak of realization. May the all humanity experience this year the bliss, the ecstasy of liberation. So, yes, may our Satguru take us to the very peak of realization. Yeah, we do our best. We do our spiritual practice. We show that we are sincere. We are not joking here, we are not playing. We are not fooling around. We are sincere. We are really doing our best. We have given up somehow this egoistic or egotistic freedom. And we have accepted the authority of the teachings of the Master. And we try to live by them completely. We try to mold our life completely according to the teachings. We try to live a selfless life which is dedicated to humanity. We try to live a spiritual life which is dedicated to self-realization. We try to live a life of non-violence in which we don't kill anybody, we don't harm anybody, but we try to bless everybody and help everybody to live a more complete, full life. That's living according to the teachings. And we try to become beings of love, beings that share and share love with everybody. So, if we live according to the teachings and we give up this so-called mental freedom, egoistic freedom, and stick to the teachings and mold our life according to them, then yes, then our Satguru, our Ishtadeva, our chosen divinity will bless us, will definitely bless us and create situations in our life which will be for our good and for the good of others. Because we can't give good to others, we can't share goodness with others unless we first have it for ourselves. We can only share with others what we are, what we have. So first we have to realize this blissful state for ourselves. We have to realize this self-realization, this liberation. And then we'll be able to share it with others. Very often we are too much concerned about, teaching to others how to achieve something higher. But this is something that should be coming later on, when you are chosen for doing so. When life, your Master, God, puts you in the situation because you are ready for it. In the beginning we should very much more concentrate on our own self-realization, how to achieve it, and live such a life that makes it possible. So we should try to, realize it for ourselves. And then when we are ready, then life itself will create situations by which we can pass it on to others. But first of all, the duty is towards ourselves. Because only if we first achieve it for ourselves, then we can share it with others. Otherwise, what are we sharing with others? Our illusions, our ignorance, I would say. So, in a nutshell, this song is a best wishes for next year. And I would like that these best wishes are not just for gaining again something material, gaining again wealth, fame. No, my best wishes is that you realize yourself as spiritual being, as a being of light, and you may come to oneness, to unity with the Supreme Being, and consequently, since this Supreme Being is spread through the whole creation and into the whole of life, you also may spread through the whole creation and into the whole of life and become one with everything. This is the greatness of this spiritual realization. Because if you become one with the divine, then just as he is, in everybody, with everybody, everywhere, contained in everything, containing everything, we should also become like him. Because that's what we actually are. We are divine in nature, and we have to realize this, experience this. So let this 2018 that is coming be a year in which you really do your best. You promise to yourself that you will never miss your meditation, that you will always get up early in the morning, at dawn, before or at dawn, and sing the songs in praises of God, in praises of your Satguru. Then close your eyes, do Simran, stare within, open the inner vision, and experience the light within you. This will give you this sense of self-realization. This will give you this sense of bliss, happiness. So let this 2018 be such a year in which you will experience more and more of this, and you will live a more purposeful life, more complete life. May God bless you. Audiale Prabhu Kirpal Piya Sanodar Shandika Jam Pakke Darish Metapate Bujava Vari Javate Goli Java Ake Jivanu Amarit Pyale Piya Sanodar Shandika Jam Audiale Prabhu Kirpal Piya Sanodar Shandika Jam Asi Jannam Jannam Derogi Kami Krodi Kapati Bogi Asi Jannam Jannam Derogi Kami Krodi Kapati Bogi Sadakat de Maya Jale Piya Sanudar Shandika Jam Audiale Prabhu किरपाल पिया सानू दर्शन दिखा जाओ। हुण तां डोले जग दा बेरा बन लावे और हुण केरा सदा दुखी अदा रखियो ख्याल पिया सानू दर्शन दिखा जाओ। आओ दयाल प्रभु किरपाल पिया सानू दर्शन दिखा जाओ। नमदान दी जोली भर दे मुर्दा रूहां नू जिंदा कर दे। नमदान दी जोली भर दे मुर्दा रूहां नू जिंदा कर दे। रूआ अपनी आप संभाल पिया सानू दर्शन दिखा जाओ। आओ दयाल प्रभु किरपाल पिया सानू दर्शन दिखा जाओ। किरपाल अजाइब दसाया तेरे बाज रूहां मुरझाया। किरपाल अजाइब दसाया तेरे बाज रूहां मुरझाया। लारे लगिया दिला जिया नाल पिया सानू दर्शन दिखा जाओ। आओ दयाल प्रभु किरपाल पिया सानू दर्शन दिखा जाओ। आओ दयाल प्रभु किरपाल पिया सानू दर्शन दिखा जाओ। ओ सानू दर्शन दिखा जाओ।